keep our line nice and clear. Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. My name's Kristen Horler. I am the founder of Baby Boot Camp, and I just want to thank all of you for just a few minutes of your time tonight as we share with you our healthy one-pot meals that your family will love too. So tonight we have 4 fitness professionals leading the call, and it's myself and 3 of my friends that I have the pleasure of working with. So I love being able to work with them and all of our trainers and other fitness professionals around the country to inspire healthy living. And one of the ways we do that is through these monthly webinars, which are kicking off tonight. So every month we'll have a different topic and some ways to encourage you and your family to include more fruits and more vegetables into your family's diet on a daily basis. So we're kicking off January with one-pot meals. And our goal here is really to take healthy back. So I'm going to share with you a few of my tips as a fitness professional. So if we have not met before, I'm the founder of Baby Boot Camp. I'm based in Sarasota, Florida. I've been a personal trainer for 18 years, and I have my master's degree in nutrition. I have a 13-year-old son, a 15-year-old daughter, and my husband Mark and I have been married for 16 and a half years. So we have some interesting family dynamics when it comes to nutrition, autoimmune diseases in our household, and food preferences as well. So I'm going to try to focus on some things that maybe you can implement into your life immediately. So tracking is one of the first things that I want to touch on. So what I started to do with my family a couple of years ago was we tracked how many servings of fruits and vegetables, and not just the servings, but also the variety that we were getting on a daily basis. And we just did this for 1 week. You know, we started on a Monday, we did it until Sunday, and we were using that time to really focus on how many servings were each of us able to get in one given day. And, you know, the recommendations, which we're going to share with you shortly, are much higher than I think any of us had really recognized. But what I really noticed as we were trying to increase our consumption of fruits and vegetables was that we were not only falling short of the USDA recommendations, but in addition to that, we were lacking variety. So if I said to you, you need to eat 5 servings or you need to eat 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, to turn around and go and eat 10 mandarin oranges, that is not ideal, because we want to really focus on the rainbow and get as many different colors and types of fruits and vegetables as possible, because those fruits and vegetables provide us with different nutrition, and that's not something that you can replicate in an isolated vitamin. So I would encourage you and your family right now, I mean, just take a look at what you've already eaten today for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and write down how many servings of fruits and vegetables you think you ate today. Continue to track those servings tomorrow and then also on Wednesday, and take a look and see if you're coming close to the recommended servings on a daily basis. And some of our other trainers are going to be sharing with you shortly in this webinar what those recommendations are for people who don't exercise, as well as the recommendation on servings of fruits and vegetables if you do exercise, because they're actually different. So that touches a little bit on variety. Are you eating the rainbow? Are all of your fruits and vegetables pretty much 2 different colors? I can tell you I eat a lot of spinach. I eat a lot of orange vegetables. So we've got green and we've got orange, and that's pretty much it. So I have to really be intentional about adding variety in. And so that's something that is so important, is that we're getting that variety so that we can get all those naturally occurring vitamins and minerals that occur in our fruits and vegetables. So my favorite dish, which is pictured here, I did not take that picture. I did not make that dish, but it does look pretty close to what I make. So no judgment here at all. A friend of mine shared with me a recipe a few weeks ago for chana masala. I love Indian food, but I've never been able to replicate it quite as well as the restaurants. But this recipe she gave me was so simple. And I've been making it once a week for my family and adding so many different plants to this. So you can see that there's chickpeas in it. You can see that there's tomatoes in it. But I've been adding handfuls of spinach. And one day I had some sweet potatoes and I chopped those up and I added the sweet potatoes. And it was incredible. So we're going to share with you in just a little bit what is coming up tomorrow, which is a 4-day Facebook event, and my entire recipe for chana masala will be included in that Facebook event. So tonight, if you contact the person who invited you to the call, they will give you the entire shopping list, everything that you need to get tomorrow, and your meal plan for the week will already be done. So you'll have dinners for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I don't know about you, but I am pretty excited about that. I hope that you are as well, to have your meals planned out for the week. So I am going to now hand it over to my friend Heather so she can share with you a few of her trainer tips as well as her favorite recipe for this week, which will also be included in our upcoming Facebook event that kicks off tomorrow morning. Heather?
Thank you, Kristen. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Little audio issues here. So I am glad that we have options here to join by phone, and I am excited to share with you guys tonight as well. I am a fitness professional. I actually live in Minnesota, and so my dish is a soup, as you can see pictured here. This time of year, we eat lots of warm comfort foods, but I'm here to show you how to make them maybe a little healthier, not as loaded with the unhealthy things that sometimes we think about in Minnesota with our hot dishes and things like that. So I have, my family is myself, my husband, we just celebrated 13 years of marriage, and my son who is 6, my daughter who is 2 years old, and I also have a degree in nutrition. I thought we were doing pretty good as a family, getting maybe 3 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day in our diet. And then I quickly started to realize that we're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and we're not eating the variety like Kristen talked about. And also in Minnesota, it's hard to be able to always get the fresh quality of vine ripened farmers market produce in our grocery stores. And I love to, tell people there is a difference in where you buy your produce and the nutritional value that is associated with your produce. So my first tip is, my topic here is get more from your produce than vine ripen matters, to shop those farmers markets. And we talk about vine ripening produce because that is when the nutritional value really is kicked up to the most, is when that produce is allowed to fully ripen on the vine. Unfortunately, or fortunately, and when you live in Minnesota, our produce is shipped a long ways. But to make sure that when it gets to our grocery store, it is still edible and not over-ripened, that means that the produce is being picked early and it's allowed to ripen during transport while it's coming to the grocery store. And that means that we're missing out on a lot of nutritional value that would be coming into that produce if it was allowed to ripen longer on the vine or tree, wherever it may be growing. So whenever it's possible, really look at shopping your farmer's market, shopping local, getting your produce from local sources as close as you can to where you live, to make sure that you're cutting down, not even, just your green, you're being a little greener. We're cutting down our carbon footprint so we can have better produce and better for the environment in general. My second tip there is the organic debate. I was never really one that thought that organic mattered that much. If you would have talked to me 5-6 years ago, it wasn't anything that was really on my radar until I started to realize the amount of pesticides, herbicides, and things that are being used on some of our produce. Now, I will tell you, I do not buy everything organic, mainly because it's nearly impossible in Minnesota to buy everything organic. But I do buy organic when it matters and make sure that my family is buying things that are organic that are on the Dirty Dozen, and then going with the non-organic when we look at the Clean 15. And these are lists that you can find on the EWG. That's E for eggplant, W for watermelon, and G for grapes. Yep, do you like my produce little names there? So that's ewg.org. And if you type in there, you'll see the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So the Dirty Dozen have higher loads of pesticides that have been found on them. It's things like strawberries, apples, peaches, celery, grapes, spinach, tomatoes, things that my family was eating a lot. So we really switched to buying those organic. But then you have the Clean 15, which don't have as high of pesticides detected on them, virtually like way lower. If you look at the website, it explains a little bit more about the ratings. And that's things like avocados and pineapple, frozen sweet peas, asparagus, papayas, kiwis. Those are just name a few. So those I don't worry as much about buying organic. But you have to remember that what's on our produce and we eat gets into our bodies too. And my shift really changed when I had my children. And I thought, yeah, what I'm putting in their little bodies really makes a difference. So that's when I really started to follow these Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 guidelines for my family. So that is getting a little bit more nutritional value from your produce. And my recipe that I will be sharing in the Facebook event that Kristen mentioned is the creamy potato soup with kale, which is pictured there. It is dairy-free, gluten-free, but it is loaded with veggies. It's very filling. It is creamy because you actually blend up part of the soup and put it back in. And, you know, kind of like Kristen was saying too, you can load that up with as many veggies as you want, even though it already has a lot that goes into it. I like to adjust, you know, what I have in my fridge, what my family enjoys eating. You can hide some veggies in a soup too, really easy. And the kale gives it, you know, even an extra nutritional boost with that. So I have my recipe to share in our Facebook group and the shopping list too that Kristen was talking about. So I am going to go ahead and pass it on now to Mary McLean, and she is going to share a little bit more information about with us about oxidative stress.
Great. Thank you, Heather. Thank you for all that great information. Hi, everybody. My name is Mary McQueen. I have 3 children. I live in Oakland, California. My 3 children are 9.5, 6.5, and 4.5. I have been a fitness professional for, I think it's over 8 years now. I have to keep remembering to add a year as the years go on. I am getting older. And I am very passionate about nutrition and exercise. And what I have learned, I think I learned about oxidative stress in terms of exercise a couple of years ago. So what is it? Why is it important? Why do we need more fruits and veggies to combat it? Oxidative stress is an imbalance between the production of free radicals and the ability of our bodies to counteract their harmful effects. The dangers of this are this damages cells. Some of the things that you might notice in yourself if you do have a lot of oxidative stress is fatigue, muscle, joint, and pain, more wrinkles, a decrease in your eyesight, headaches, susceptibility to infections, and it can become even as serious as cancer causing. So nothing that we really want to have in our bodies. The causes are really interesting because they range from things like smoking and pollution, which you might think would be, you know, that makes sense, all the way to exercise. And what happens when you are exercising is that you're breathing more, you're taking in a lot more oxygen, and the process of metabolizing that oxygen is what produces the free radicals. So no, I'm not going to tell you to stop exercising. Continue to exercise, but what we need to do is counteract that exercise. The benefits of exercise, I will say it again, the benefit of exercise far outweighs the dangers of oxidative stress. So continue your workouts, but what we can do to counteract this oxidative stress is a couple of different things: avoiding sugar, avoiding processed foods. So having our event where we're making these one-pot meals, low processed, and we're processing it ourselves, and no sugar, no added sugar. So it's a great event to join tomorrow. And also increasing our antioxidants via fruits and vegetables. So Kristen was talking about getting 7 to 13 servings of raw fruits and veggies. And the recommendation, actually, if you are very active and following some sort of exercise program, is 18 or more, which is crazy. It sounds like a lot. But again, with that increased oxygen in your exercise, you need to balance it out by increasing those fruits and vegetables. And again, going back to trying to get the rainbow is super important. So my recipe is a veggie casserole. It's originally written for the slow cooker, but I know some people are kind of scared of the slow cooker. So I'm going to have the slow cooker version as well as a version that you can make on your stovetop if you do not have a slow cooker. So it's lots of yummy, delicious cooked beans, but also some raw spinach in there at the end, and polenta. So super hearty, but a little bit lighter for our California, I want to say heat, but it's been really cold here lately, but generally it's not as rainy and cold as it is here out in the West Coast. But so it's kind of a light, but also nice and filling dish that will be in our event starting tomorrow, again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I am going to, as I hear my children screaming in the background, there's a mutiny happening, and I'm going to pass this over to Linda. Are you there, Linda?
I am. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hey, Linda, I think we lost you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't move.
Okay, so let me start again. I'm Linda Okor, and I live in Los Angeles, and I am married, and I have 2 beautiful children. And my son, who is 1, eats everything. My daughter, on the other hand, not so much. She's extremely picky, and it is always a chore to get her to eat the variety of food that she's supposed to get. So my chore every day is getting her to get more veggies in her diet, which is what I'm going to talk about. The one thing that I do that really helps a lot with the family is not to wait till dinner. I try to get vegetables in every meal possible. That means breakfast. So if you're making baked goods, try to throw in there some vegetables, let's see, even like spinach and zucchini and things like that you can hide in there, and they think is yummy. They will eat it up. Maybe throw in some spinach, some kale, some carrots, some green beans, or maybe leftovers from the night before in your omelet, or using it and tossing it in your salad for lunch. And especially dinner, you have to make sure that you get it in there. But along the way, like in between for your snacks, getting in some fruits and vegetables. I try to do raw fruits, of course, like your bananas and your oranges and your apple and things like that. But oh my goodness, it's hard to get her to eat those even. So she's more apt to eat like the dry fruit. So whatever you can get in there, dry fruit, dry vegetables, just make sure that you try to get your vegetables and all throughout the day as you go. So therefore at dinner, you don't have such an uphill battle. You know you've gotten, a great deal of it in, and at dinner you could just top it off. And another way that you could get it in, of course, is our Juice Plus capsules. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But let's talk about the picky eaters. Oh my goodness, like my daughter. How do you get her, or that picky eater, to eat healthy? A few things that I've tried that works for me, is still a work in progress, is that I try to do a lot of like sneaky ways that I can add vegetables to the meal. If you've ever heard of the rice vegetables, please get it. They are amazing. They have rice cauliflower, rice broccoli, and rice carrots. I know Green Giant now has it. I don't know if it's organic. I get mine from Trader Joe's, and I put in everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. The breakfast, I'm making eggs, it goes in there. If I'm making muffins, it goes in there. If I'm making a shake, it goes in there. If I'm making quesadillas, I sprinkle it on there. Her pizza is full of them. And she just eats it up because she thinks it's pizza and it's covered in cheese. But, you know, I try to sneak some things in there. So that's one way that I get in some veggies in the meals. Another thing that I do is I try to make it fun. I try to get them involved in my meal planning. Asking your family or your friends, or whoever it is that eat dinner with you or eat meals with you, let's make a meal plan or let's make a menu for the week. What would you like to eat? So we each go around picking an item that we each would love to have. And then, of course, I take the ones that are unhealthy and try to make it as healthy as possible. But I find that when they feel like they have a say in what is made, they're more apt to participate in eating that meal, but also will be respectful of the other person's choices because they know that we ate what they chose. So that's been really helpful. Trying to get your family involved with the grocery shopping. With my daughter, I say, hey, we're going to the grocery store. Your job is to pick one fruit and to pick one vegetables that you would like this week, and we will cook it and we will eat it. And she goes along and she picks something. So I know for sure that if she picked broccoli, she's more than likely going to eat broccoli. If she's curious about squash, I try to make it a way that she can have that and she will enjoy that. So that really helps, helping with the growing of the vegetables. If you're able and lucky enough to have a garden, that is wonderful. The kids really get into it when they can like actually participate in the growth of their own produce and the food that they eat. They talk about it. They, brag about it to their friends. Is a sense of pride that goes into it. So if you can, please do so. I know it's wintertime, and a lot of places around the country, you're not able to have a garden outside. There is an option to have gardens inside or a tower garden that you can grow anywhere, grow fruits and grow vegetables in small spaces indoors. So just having fresh produce and things that they take part in that they will enjoy eating. So that's another tip that I've used to get them to be more, participate more in the vegetable eating. And then I try to make it fun, whether it's helping her helping me make dinner or calling it really fun things. Like if she says, Mommy, what are we having for dinner? I say, we're having yummy chili or we're having delicious squash or something like that. So I always make it really nice. Think like you're describing a meal to like a kid's magazine. Like, how would you write that somebody, like a kid would say, oh, this is really good? Or even like, I know there's some adults that don't eat veggies or things like that. How would you describe it? So like an editorial description or something, so it will make it really inviting. So I do that. So when she thinks chili, she's thinking yummy chili. If she thinks zucchini, she's thinking wildly green or something like that, zucchini. So making it really fun, and that's really, really helped. And so when she describes what she wants, she says it the same way too, and it has like a special appeal to it. And another thing that I do is I bribe her. I bribe her with things that she likes. Yes, I do, because sometimes I just don't want to fight. I just want her to eat it. So I will say, hey, if you eat 5 spoonfuls of the quinoa with the sweet peppers, the sweet yummy peppers, you'll get a bite of croissants. And it's like, a dinner roll, like a crescent roll or something that I know she loves, but I want her to eat her food. So we sit there and we count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is really fun for them. After the 5th bite, she'll have a bite of something she really enjoys. So that has really, really helped. And then also taking the things that she likes or they like and making it healthier. So I won't buy the pizza. I will actually make the pizza. So I know like what's in the dough. I know that, I don't eat dairy, but she loves cheese. So I'll get like the lighter cheese and I go lighter on the cheese. I hide the vegetables underneath, like I said, with the rice, broccoli or cauliflower, some onions, some really good things, chop the mushrooms really fine. So those are really good ways to get them, the piggy eaters, to eat the things that you cook. Now, my recipe, which includes everything that I just told you, is my chili. A friend of mine shared the chili recipe with me last year. I don't know what it is. I always thought that chili was like, I guess it could be really unhealthy, was unhealthy, and it took a long time to make. But she gave me a recipe that was very light and delicious, and I've been making it ever since, and I load it with vegetables. I try to make it fun. Like, I add green things and yellow things and red things, white things, and we try to like count how many colors is in it, or try to pick out the unique color for the day. So I make it like fun and a game, and each time I put something different, and she just knows that she's eating yummy chili. And again, if I have to, I'm like, okay, you can have dinner roll, or a couple of bites of dinner roll if you like eat your chili. But this is delicious. It's really healthy. I'm going to be sharing the recipe on our Facebook page, our Facebook event. So make sure that you join us if you haven't done so. It's just so much to try to get everything in this call. We have a little bit of your time, so we want to be respectful of your time. So go on to the Facebook event, and we'll be posting the recipes. It's really, really good, and it's very, very healthy. And another way that you can get the fruits and the vegetables that you need on a regular basis is Juice Plus. If you've never heard of Juice Plus, oh my goodness, you're missing out. I started Juice Plus because I started a business, and I was terrified of getting sick. Every year, at least 2 or 3 times a year, I would get sick. And when I say sick, it's not like my throat is a little hoarse like it is right now, or I have a cough or a sneeze. I mean, in bed with the flu. I don't want to see anybody covers over my head with a box of tissue, sick. And I knew with the business that I couldn't function like that. I couldn't run my business, and I didn't want to be afraid of interacting with the kids or the moms, because I was afraid I was going to catch something. So a friend of mine told me about Juice Plus, and like months later, people started asking me. They're like, what do? You never get sick. And I was like, I think it's this Juice Plus thing. And the more I was on Juice Plus, I started to realize all is wonderful benefits. And the number one thing that it did, and why it was so great for my immune system, is the phytonutrients. Juice Plus, our ideal package for Juice Plus, has over 30 different varieties of vine ripened fruits and vegetables. Everything that Kristen talked about, everything that Heather talked about, everything that Mary talked about. We talked about vine ripen, we talked about the variety and the number and oxidative stress. This will directly take care of it. And if you miss your veggies or your fruits along the way, just 2 of each capsules would meet all your requirements. So you can go on knowing that even if you're not able to eat the things that you need, the Juice Plus is going to help you get through it. So that is my...
Hey, Linda, I think we lost you again. I think it might be your mic.
Okay. What did you hear last?
I think you were just wrapping it up.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, good. So get with the person that invited you and ask him about Juice Plus, or getting into our Facebook event if you're not already a part of our Facebook event. But all these things that we talked about, for a long time, I didn't think it mattered. And then I became a mom, and it just became so clear to me that I can make a choice for myself, but my kids and my family really have no choice. What I give them is what they're going to eat. They're going to come to a point in their lives where they can make those choices. But for now, you want to make sure that you are doing the best that you can for them to make sure that they have the healthiest of diet, because the healthiest of diet is going to help them with all those things that they have to face in the world, physically, emotionally, mentally. And fruits and vegetables, the phytonutrients, are definitely the most important nutrients out there. And that's why we so heavily talked about it. So because it is wintertime and we are talking about one pot meals. There's so many varieties of things that you can use out there. There's the crock pots, there's the Instapots, even just making it in a pot on the stove. And come back to our event and we'll give you all those recipes and the shopping list, and you'll be good to go. You'll have your meals for the week. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember, our Facebook group starts tomorrow, and we really, really appreciate having you. Take care and good night.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.